Okay, I think it's recording now. Okay, yeah, it should be. Yeah, it's recording. I don't know how loud it'll be, but it should hopefully be loud enough. Should hopefully be loud enough. If you didn't see, uh, if you didn't see the video, I uploaded a new video called How to Make Friends in Under 6 Minutes. And yes, the video is 6 minutes and 38 seconds, but the 38 seconds is just a clip. It's just an intro. And I just wanted to go over a few points from the video. So I'm having this podcast of just where I review each video in more depth for the people that watched it, understood it, liked it, and want to, gain more knowledge from it. So I thought I would do that. And so if you haven't seen the video, go see it now. I'll have it in the description. But it's a really helpful video for those people who haven't got many friends and they're inside and all day, and you're not really searching how to make friends on YouTube if you don't have any friends. If you have friends, I mean, sometimes I just stutter my words. But I'm gonna go over a review over the video because even so, I think you should be refreshed on the points that you obviously need to learn. And so I went over in the video about having to make friends. You have to join a club or you have to be part of some social group, which is completely true. You can't sit inside all day and expect to make friends. It's not how the world works. You've got to actually go outside. And from in the video, I was talking about you need to go outside and specifically join a club or in school. And I realize now that's more tailored towards kids or students, which is my age group, which is like, kind of biased towards the people that are older and they're in work and they're not in school anymore, they've finished uni. So I want to explain that now and say you don't need, it's not a big issue. You can still join any groups. Like there's this there's like online uh online websites where you can sign up and you can find clubs that are going on. So I found one club that was a basketball club, and that's for all age groups. I also found one that's about podcasts. I found one that's about music. I found one that's about movies. It's literally one where like you walk in there and you watch a movie with people, or even if you have no hobbies, you can always go get food with some people. And so that was one of them. If you hear any noise in the background, that's just my brother. And so it's very easy to find these clubs. So if you're an adult, you can just sign up to one of them. Just search in like clubs in my area or like events in my area, and it should come up in like the first couple searches that isn't an ad. So yeah, you can do that. And most jobs will also hold like events, which is good. Now these events are kind of different from what like normal events are, because normal events you can piss about with your friends, right? But you don't want to do that because your boss can be watching and your professional career is on the line. So I recommend keeping it chill there. My overall recommendation is that you go to one of these events that I just told you about. If you go to one of these events, you can surely find like a group of friends. And if you can't, there's always like clubs going on, like badminton, football, basketball, martial arts is a great one. Yoga for any women. Those are also great. And then in the video, I talked about how um, walking up to people. So there's a bit of science behind this, and I've been focusing on how people act quite a lot in my life by observing and learning until it becomes intuitive. I've been doing that since I was like 14, and so there's quite a bit I know about it. And so when you're looking at someone, you're mainly looking for the atmosphere, because the atmosphere is the main thing you want to talk about, think about at least. Because if someone's got the right atmosphere, it can make the world a difference. If the atmosphere is right, it can send someone from being like a normal person who you might chat to once in like a supermarket or something to being like a best friend for life. And this atmosphere, and it perfectly demonstrated through this. So I like to think of it or explain it like when someone's in the supermarket and they're buying their groceries, and then you have another person who's like just signed up for uni and it's the first day and they don't really know anybody, and you can see them and they've just moved in with their parents, and you walk up to them and talk to them. Which one do you think would be the best friend? Which one do you think is going to be the best relationship? It's definitely going to be the kid who's just signed up. A lot of this is just common sense, which is great, but most people don't use common sense. Most people can't take a step back in a social situation and just realize how another person will be feeling. And what you should be doing is you should be the guy that's taking a step back in that social situation. So when you're caught up in the moment and your heart's racing, your mind's filling with a bunch of things saying like, don't talk to that person, there's no point, it's not right, the atmosphere's wrong, just take a genuine step back away from the person. Like, don't even look at them, like just turn around, stare at the wall, put some earbuds in, listen to music for like 1 to 2 minutes and just think like, what is the situation? And then relax, calm yourself down, and then you can turn around and you can talk to them. Or just like, and just do something simple like fist bump them. Fist bump always works, just fist bump. Even with girls, like, you just walk up to them, fist bump. Some of them don't even like expect a fist bump because they've never been fist bumped. But you just like proceed, you just hold up your fist, you're like staring at them, waiting for them to reply, and eventually they'll just be like, and that's when you know you've got them. That sounded kind of stupid. You know what I mean? um, and then the next thing is like other helpful tips about this. So when you're walking up to someone and you're really awkward at the beginning, that's fine. It's fine, and you just at level 1. So I like to think of it like this: you're not competing with the people who are in your similar age group. So I'm not competing with 18-year-olds. I'm competing with people who have been on self improvement for maybe like 3 to 4 years, because that's how long I've probably been on it. Uh, and you want to think about it like that, or otherwise you're going to be caught up in some like idea that, oh, this person's more social than I am, or this person's more social than I am. You just want to think about it like, I'm focusing on like self improvement, and it's day 1 self improvement. So I'm competing with people who are also on day 1, and then next day, and yeah, it obviously carries on. It just makes a much more healthy relationship with yourself. Just overall, just happy, I guess. But all of this information is key, and if you're not like taking notes or anything, and you're not paying attention or like even thinking of implementing this, like, you're probably just eating something while you're watching this video, like beans on toast or like crisps or like some Haribos. Put them down, take notes, be humble. I love that song. But it is true. Take some notes and actually pay attention. because for this next point about leveling, it's pretty crucial, and you'll need to take a schedule. So what I would do, let me open up a new page so I can demonstrate this here. Actually, I'll just drop my pen. What I would do if I was in your situation is I would make a schedule. There should be some paper around here. Okay, good. What I would do is I would make a schedule. So say you have school from like 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and you want to spend some time socializing to build your social skill. What you'll do is you set like from 4 p.m. to like from like 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. or like 5 p.m. as like social time, you know? So I would set it up like this and have 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. be social time, and then you would come back home and then you would spend some time on work, like 6 to like 7, only about an hour a day when on work days like this. And then you can eat like a meal in between. So meal, meal, meal. And then from 7 till 10, you would get to chill, right? So work, social, work, and then sleep. So it's something like this, if you can see it. So from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. you would work in like a school or something, which is my normal work day. You would go from 4 to 5 p.m. as like social time, so about like an hour. You could even make it 6 or something. And then you would come home, have a meal, like something. Also, you're having a meal at the beginning of the day, part to a breakfast. So you have 6 to 7 work, or like workout or working online. And then you come home and you can have time to chill, which is about 7 till 10, which is about 3 hours, which is 3 hours. You also want to have another meal, because 3 meals a day, and then you sleep. This social time though, that goes from 4 to 5. That can be anything. It can be walking about with your friends just at the markets, chatting, or just like sitting about after school. It could even be like a workout. So you would go like school, workout with your friends at the gym, and then go home, do some online business work, and then go to sleep after like chilling for a bit, because you earned a rest at that point. And if you're not following a schedule like that, and you're just coming home straight after work and you're sleeping immediately, it's not setting a good precedent. It really isn't. I know you're tired after the day, but you're only sleeping after work because you've got a horrible sleeping schedule. And if you haven't fixed it, you're just not showing enough dedication to it. Now, I know some people do genuinely get their like energy at different times in the day. Like a lot of people get their things at work at like night or something. I actually do get my energy at night, which is why I'm recording this at night. Which is why you should make your own schedule. So that's just basic bitch scheduling. If you follow that, good on you. That's a great schedule, but it's also the most basic shit. Okay, and then next you've got the mentality, right? Oh wait, did we ever finish what we just talked about? Anyway, make your own schedule, make your own times, and so if you're gonna sleep straight after work, that's up to you, my guy, but whatever works for you, but make sure you're getting the time in to actually do your work and socialize, because you can't socialize at the middle of the night when people are sleeping. It's just how it is. But the next thing I want to talk about is mentality. So mentality is like how you already know how you think and your approach to the situation, which is the main thing I want to talk about, the approach to making friends. Because if your mentality isn't right and you're thinking like, who the fuck is this bitch while you're talking to someone, nobody's gonna want to be your friend, man. Nobody is gonna want to be your friend. So what you want to do is you want to actually approach someone with an open mind. I talked about that in the video a tiny bit, just a tiny bit, like open-mindedness and just being kind to other people. But I didn't go over it in any serious detail, so I want to go over it right now. And so when you're doing this, let me open up this thing again. When you're actually like, when I say being open-minded, I mean being grateful. So when you're open-minded and you're grateful, you're happy to just be in a conversation with someone. So I think we should go over the explanation of gratefulness. So to be grateful, it is to be happy about a situation or content with it. And you need to be content with failing, which is the main thing. So if you're content with failing, then you could fail a million times and you would have at least one success. And one success could be like, it could be massive. It could change your life. It could be like a billionaire. It could be like literally Jeff Bezos and he hands you 5 billion just for, I don't know, sucking his dick. Sorry, British humor crawling out of me. Fucking England. But what I want you to do is I want you to like write down every day your goal for the day, your genuine goal for the day, and then I want you to also write down what you're grateful about and the worst possible situation that could happen. So let's say grateful mission number 1, right? And you want to make a new friend. Make new friend. And you think that the worst possible situation that can possibly happen to you is they beat you up. Let's say that they beat you up. Okay, so now you've established the best situation and the worst situation. So you want them to be your friend, but you don't want them to beat you up. Pretty weird situation, I know, but let's just roll with it because it gets across the point. And so you also want to write down what you're grateful about. Now, I know this sounds redundant when you're in a depressed state, and a lot of the information that you get online is very tailored towards, like, take a bath, go for a walk, and things. But the reason that you think that is because your mentality is about all that advice is completely wrong. I recently did a mental health video with my class about like how the bath bomb and other advice like that doesn't work. And I felt uncomfortable saying like, I don't think that it is wrong advice because it's not technically wrong. It's just not advised well. And the advice that you'll always see is like take a walk, take a bath bomb, and that's because most of those activities will make you step away from like any conflict or anything that'll disturb your mental thought. So it's mainly about like thinking for yourself. And that's the main problem that people in this day and age don't have. Is like they don't think for themselves. And so when someone says take a walk, you think exercise? I don't need exercise. What? No, that's not the point. That was never the point of like why they said take a walk. It's take a walk so you can chill out, think about your situation, like, and actually think what you need to accomplish in life. Why are you pissed off? Why are you failing at whatever you're doing? Oh, it's because of that. Well, then why is it because of that? oh, because why? What can I do to fix it? And it's all these different questions that you're supposed to think to yourself when you're actually doing these activities, like take a bath bomb, is relaxing in the bath. And it gives you perspective on your situation, which is the main thing. Because without perspective, you're just going to be an aimless chicken. Anyway, back to point about being grateful. Write like 3 things that you're grateful about. Like, I'm grateful for the friends I already have. And I'm grateful about my motivation to grow. And I'm also grateful about, let's say, my topic that we're talking about, so like basketball. And this could be anything like student accommodation or some random crap like that. And then I want you to write one thing about what you want to share with them. And so I want to share my glee. Glee means like happiness. And so I want to share my glee with them. Sounds kind of whack. Sounds, but you know what I mean. I want to share my happiness with them. And so if I walk up to them and I have a conversation with them, they might have been having like a bad day. They failed a test, their friend just ditched them or something, and now you're their friend and you're here talking to them, hearing them out, like listening to them speak, not just hearing your own voice reverb from their ears, just going like, yeah, like genuinely listening to someone and knowing their name. And so with all that, it should look like something like this, where you've got the mission, you've got what you actually want to accomplish throughout the day, which is make one new friend. You have the worst possible situation, which is this, which is getting beaten up. And then you have your things that you're grateful about. You have one for your existing friends, you have one for your mentality, which is great. And then you have one for, what was that? Oh yeah, basketball. So you got one for your passion, because you know that they would be sharing the same passion. And then one thing that you actually want to share with them. So you've glee. So something like you want to share an experience or memory, or you want to share a drink, could be something like that, or a workout, anything that you want it to be. But all of this, after you do it for a couple of days, it's supposed to retrain your brain into actually being more happy and accepting for your situation. Now, I know this sounds really shit and it doesn't work, but I've tried it. It's worked perfectly for me, and there's been studies conducted by Harvard where they actually test people's gratefulness. So they got people to write down 3 things a day which they actually agree with, that they personally wrote down about things they're happy about. And they did this every day for about 3 months, I think. And the results came back, and it was like people were about 30% happier, and in the stress, they were 80% more calm. 80% more calm under stress. Now, that is incredible. So it means that under stress, you realize that things are gonna turn out okay. Like, you know that this is a bad situation, and you know that things might be fucked in this one particular area, but you know you're gonna come out okay. And that's the main benefit from this. Like, when you're going out socializing and you make something stupid, you say like, "Ah, you look ugly," yeah, which is a horrible thing to say. Don't ever say that. But you know that you're gonna come out alright, because you've got friends, you've got perspective, and you got yourself, which you're grateful about. And that's the main thing, knowing that you can fail and still be good. And so that's the whole point of the grateful mind journaling thing. And to also give you like perspective that even the worst outcome, it's not going to happen. Like, to get beaten up, you would have to like walk up to a group of guys who are visibly untrustworthy. Like, they would be smoking weed, they would be covered in all black like roadmen, and then you'd also have to be doing something stupid because you don't walk up to them, say something like, "How you doing, mate? It's good to meet you." They wouldn't beat you up for that. You would have to be saying something like, "Well, what the fuck you doing, you ugly chav?" And at that point, how would you fail that badly? Like, if you're failing that badly, god damn, I don't even know what to do if you're failing that badly. So, either way, you can make it. You can. It's not very hard, all these things, to not get beaten up, to write 3 things a day. It takes like 2 minutes after you wake up. Everyone should be doing it. And so the next point that I want to bring up in like the whole uh, this podcast is like just a couple of stories from like my experience about like trying to make new friends. And these are stories mainly from like high school. So when like I had barely any friends, I had like 3 friends at the time, and I wanted to make more friends. This is what I genuinely did. So I was pretty socially awkward. So what I used to do is I would psych myself up. I would be like, yes, yes, come on, come on, come on, come on. And then I would walk up to someone when like the whole room's empty, like everyone's left, and the classroom's like got maybe 2 people in, and I would be like, I would make some kind of joke. And so this one time, we were all leaving the classroom, science room, and people were leaving. It was like a line, so people were leaving, they were going out this door, and I was at the back of the line, and this one guy in front of me, I looked at like some I looked at some kids painting on the wall, and we were all looking at it like, damn, that is one ugly painting. That is one ugly painting. And I stared at it, and out of nowhere, the quiet kid, which was me, I just said, "That shit looks like a uterus." I don't. It was a very bad joke, but it worked, and it got people laughing. And it was those little interactions that I used to build up my confidence to the point where I could talk to someone, because I couldn't even talk to anyone for like a minute straight without feeling very, very awkward. I would visibly like walk away from the situation if I had to talk to someone for more than like 2 minutes. And so by cracking these jokes, it was a way for me coping with the situation, like uh calling a kid's ugly drawing a uterus to make other people laugh. That was like my main go-to method. And then eventually I was able to talk to people. And so this next story was like, it was like when I was in my final year of high school, when I was really starting to make a ton of friends. Like, this was the point in time when I had like maybe uh, I think it was like 30 close friends, like genuinely 30. Like, it sounds way too big to be normal, but I don't know. In high school, you just do it. So this group of 30 people were like the football group, and it was more like turned down than that. There was like 100 kids on the football pitch, and about 70 of them were like, the normal football group, the one that's like all the people try hard in, and like you have the big lads who are like walking about stomping, and we were like the 30. We had like, well, I mean, there was actually 110 because you had like the year sevens always in the corner, but isn't important. But we were the 30 that would be the guys who want to play football, want to have friends, but didn't want to take it as seriously as the other group. So there was kind of a niche there. And I didn't create the group, it was one of my friends. And so it was about 10 of us already there existingly. And then throughout the year, I got sat with new people in my classes. So I had like 5 classes, um, and I would constantly be moved about. And so what I would do is I would just talk to the person next to me, like, and it would be someone I don't know, and I would be like, "Hey, bro, how you doing? What's your name?" And I would be like, uh, "Well, a bunch of us are going down to the AstroTurf today. You coming down at lunch?" And they would always say that, like, "Yeah, maybe, maybe," and then they would show up because they ain't got nothing to do at lunch. And so it was these things like that really got me the friends that like turned into like a group of 30 people all showing up by the end of the year that would always show up for like football, and we would get like the tiny football net because like all the popular kids have the big one. But it was just fucking jokes, man. It was jokes. And all of this from just like the simple step of just talking to someone and then inviting them to do something. And so that's what I was preaching in this video, and the kind of ideas that you need to take away from it and all the situations that you can adapt it to. So what you need to do is what I just said before about the mentality is like think about it from your own perspective and actually take the time to think for yourself. Think about how you can adapt these to your own situations and your like friend groups or your interests, and that's the main draw. Uh, Something I also want to go over is like appearance, because it is very important, and you do get treated very, very differently when it comes to appearance when trying to make friends. So what I've found is, unless you look like a, what I found is unless you're incredibly, incredibly ugly, you're still gonna have a lot of friends, and this is because wait, I want to take that back. You'll have a lot of friends, even if you're, no matter what attractiveness you are, you're going to have a lot of friends, because what I've noticed throughout the years is that your attractiveness does not matter to guys. If you're a guy, guys don't care what you look like. They genuinely don't. They only care about if you're fun and if you're a chill person. And so, a perfect example of this would be the extremely fat kid in classrooms. He's not the most attractive guy, but he's normally the most social. He's not super attractive, but he makes up for it in different aspects by being the loudest, funniest guy in the room, which is normally pretty fun to see, you know. So no matter like what your attractiveness level is, you're still gonna be able to make friends. For a girl, girls probably, I don't know about girls because I'm not a girl, but it's different when it comes to girls though. If you're a guy, so girls do treat you very differently based on appearance. So if you're a guy and you're trying to talk to a girl and you're maybe like a 4 out of 10, she might give you the time of day, she might not. She'll probably just be like doing that face that she gives a lot. I know a lot of you will be like, "Oh yeah, I know that face." Yeah, of course you do know that face, don't you? Don't worry, I've had it in the past. Like when you're talking to someone and they see that you're kind of awkward, they see that like you kind of below average attractiveness, and they don't really want to talk to you that much, but they don't want to be rude, so they're just like, "That's not a good face. That's not a good face." So what you want to do is, well, there's nothing really you can do apart from like self improvement and trying to make yourself look the best presentably that you can. But if you're at your limit and you're like still like a 6 out of 10, you'll still get like attention from girls. It's about like the 6 mark. Like once you reach a level 6, people will be like indifferent. Nobody will be like, "Oh yeah, I want to talk to him because he's super attractive." No, it's normally like, "Oh, he looks like a nice guy." So when it comes to making friends, once you reach a level 6, you won't have any negatives, but you won't have any positives either. And about level 5, you'll have some negatives and no positives. So, for example, someone at a level 5 could probably see you and be like, oh yeah, he's like a 6. Someone could also see it and be like, yeah, he's like a 4. And then you would still get the negatives of the 4 being like, I don't really want to talk to that guy. He looks like a weirdo. He kind of looks like he works at like Starbucks. He kind of looks like he works at like, uh, what's like a shitty place, Hot Topic. He kind of looks like he would watch Star Trek or Star Wars. Now, I'm not trying to bash any of those because those are sick, but it's just the negative that you get when you're ranked at like a 4 out of 10. So ideally, you want to be like, well, you want to be a 10 at best, but most people can definitely get to a 6, like 90% of people. Once you start to get to like 7, that's when you start noticing people like genuinely taking an interest in what you say. And so this is the level I'm at, so I can't go any above than, I don't know anything else about an 8 or 9 or a 10, so I only know about a 7. And so at this point, people genuinely want to talk to you. So you'll have no negatives, but you'll also have like a few positives, like 20% positives. Like when you're talking to someone and you're just trying to make idle chatter, they'll smile a lot more than if like you were a 4 or a 5. Uh, I don't know why this is. I think it's just psychology of like the average trustable face. And if you want to know more about that, you can search up some YouTube videos about it, because I know a few good YouTubers that do face analysis, where it's talking about how an average face is a very trustworthy face, and one that kind of deviates from the average can kind of be seen as like mysterious or attractive because it's scarce. But you want to think about how you can make yourself look presentable. And so all of this kind of ranting rounds itself back down to you want to be a 6. So if you look like a 4 and you have greasy, unkept hair and you haven't had a haircut in 5 weeks or in like a year or something, you're wearing like horrible clothing that does not look good. Now I know you like your Simpsons top. A lot of people do. Like you'll wear like a Star Trek t-shirt or Star Wars, and you'll think it's hip and trendy now that people like actually watch Star Wars, but it's not the fact that you're wearing a Star Wars t-shirt that's the problem. It's the fact that the t-shirt just looks like shit. And repping a brand like that, or a non-fashionable brand, is not good. So I recommend going on Pinterest, seeing other fashion sources that look good, like literally typing in men's fashion and making a playlist of like all the images that you love. So like I have suits because I really like suits, and although I can't wear suits every day because they're pretty hard to wear because of social situations and uncomfortableness, I still really like suits design, so I have a lot of them. I also have street fashion, which is cool, which is like what I'm wearing now, just chill everyday things. And you want to find this stuff, market, and genuinely go out and buy the items that you see, like because normally this is like you're just having them do the work for you at this point. You know, picking out you don't need to know what's fashionable because they're already doing it, and if they look good in it, then you're probably going to look not as good and not on the same level, but you'll look better than what you started as. Trust me, I've done that before. I see something on Pinterest, I order it, and I'm like, I don't look like a model. But all of this should hopefully help you make new friends. Now, the final one, which is gonna sound cheesy, it always does, and that's you wanna know your goals. And so you wanna know a long term goal, which is like one that you have 5 months from now, a year from now, 10 years from now. And then you want one that's like a mid goal, like a month from now. So I would have a goal that's like in 1 year, that would be like make 100 friends, and then a month from now, I would have a goal that's like make 5 friends, and then I would have a daily goal like um, talk to someone, new or something, or like get someone's Instagram. And it's these little goals that is just gonna help you progress, because you don't want to have like nothing. You want to write it down in paper, like genuinely on paper, like I have like here, right? You want to write all these goals down, have like literal skill bars like I have here, if need be, where you're talking about each and every stat that you're trying to increase, because there's no worse thing than forgetting what progress you've made, because the human brain is always against you at this point. It'll forget the most random shit. Like, I can't even remember what I had 5 minutes ago just to eat. And so I have to write down physically my progress that I've made to constantly remind myself that I'm a well capable person who is able to make all this progress, and I'm like confident in my skills because of it. And so there's little tricks that you can do on your mind that just helps you progress, keeps you motivated, and keeps your confidence up. Now, I hope you do follow all these, because otherwise I've just done a bunch of work for jack shit. Because I do want to genuinely see you improve yourself. And I know I do ramble a lot, but I hope you'll see past that and get the points that I'm trying to instill into your brain. So anyway, I'm gonna go sleep tonight and probably just watch Peaky Blinders.